Well, here we come to another old principle lesson. This is number 124. And have you ever seen these things? These are pancakes, 煎饼. And the title for this lesson is Brandon's Pancakes. Brandon 是一个小孩子的名字。Pancakes, of course, 是煎饼。You know what? I'm a little bit hungry right now. 所以我流口水。Anyway, I'm salivating. But before I teach this lesson, we need to have somebody who actually makes pancakes. She cooks pancakes, not me. Okay? So here is Brandon's mother. No. It's not Brandon's mother, but this is Brandon's cakes read by the old principal's wife. So here we go.
6-year-old Brandon decided one Sunday morning to make pancakes for his parents. He found a big mixing bowl and a stirring spoon. He pulled a chair up to the counter, opened the cupboard, and pulled out the heavy flour canister. It slipped out of his hands and spilled all over the floor. He got down, scooped some of the flour into the bowl with his hands, mixed in most of a cup of milk, and added some sugar. Everywhere he went, he left a floury trail on the floor, which by now had a few tracks left by his kitten as well. Brandon was covered with flour and getting frustrated. He wanted this to be something very special for Mom and Dad, but it wasn't going well. In fact, it was turning out very bad. He didn't know what to do next. Should he put it all into the oven, or should he put it up on the stove? Problem was, he didn't know how the stove worked. Suddenly, he saw his kitten licking from the bowl of mix and reached over to push her away. As he swung his hand toward her, he knocked the eggs onto the floor. Frantically, he tried to clean up his monumental mess, but he slipped on the eggs, getting his pajamas all white and sticky. He was about ready to cry when he saw Dad at the door. Big crocodile tears welled up in Brandon's eyes. All he'd wanted to do was something good, but he'd made a terrible mess. He was sure that Dad would give him a scolding, maybe even a spanking, but his father just smiled at him. Walking through the mess, Dad picked up his crying son and hugged him, getting his own pajamas white and sticky in the process.
Brandon,
he said,
thank you for making pancakes for our breakfast.
Cute.
That's a very nice story. Did your children ever make pancakes for you?
I remember one time at a Mother's Day, they did something.
But it probably turned out a little bit better than that, huh?
Yes, I think so.
Good. Okay, this is a cute story. And it'll be a fun one, and we'll learn some new words that we don't usually use. Kitchen words. So here we go. 6-year-old Brandon, how old is he? 6 years old. Decided one Sunday morning to make pancakes for his parents. 为父母亲做煎饼. Man, this is hard to do this lesson because I'm hungry. Anyway, we'll just see if we can make it through there. Going on, he found a big mixing bowl. So we gotta have a big mixing bowl. Okay, here is the mixing bowl. Is that big enough? Okay, I don't know whether it's big enough, but anyway, this is a mixing bowl. This is where you mix everything. 把东西混在一起. Okay, and so this is a mixing bowl. Very nice mixing bowl too. Okay, well, we'll put the mixing bowl down for a while. And he found a stirring spoon, big stirring spoon. And he pulled a chair up to the counter. Now, the counter, of course, is 柜台. Okay, so 就把一个椅子拉到那个地方. Because, of course, you're 6 years old and you are probably not tall enough. Okay, so he's 6 years old. Going on, he opened the cupboard, 柜子上面的 cupboard, okay, cupboard, 柜子, and he pulled out the heavy canister of flour. Okay, 面粉的 canister. Do you know what a canister is? A canister is like a big can. 好像一个很大很大的一个罐头. It's just一种, how do you say, 容具, something that you put something into. In this case, it was a flour canister. In fact, you even see the word can in it. So you could say, well, it's not 罐头, but it's a canister. But something happened going on. It slipped. It slipped. So 滑掉. Out of his hands and spilled all over the floor. 在那个地板倒出来. This is flour. That must have been a mess. But that's not all. The story has just begun. Going on, he got down. Okay, 所以蹲下来. And what did he do? Okay, maybe we'll just set this down. And scooped. Do you know what scoop means? 舀起来, 这个舀起来. Scooped some of the flour up and he put it in the mixing bowl. Off of the floor. Off of the floor. 平常我们不会这样做, right? Right. Okay, so he now is, this is going to be a hard day. I have to keep track of all of this stuff. Okay. And he mixed in most of a cup of milk. Okay. 一杯牛奶就放进去. And he added some sugar. Added some sugar. 又加了一些糖. So here he is mixing. How am I going to hold both of these things at the same time? This is not easy. Okay, so what has he got in here? He's got flour. 从这个地板来的, from the floor. He's got a little milk. And he's got some sweet stuff like sugar, 糖 going on. Everywhere he went, he left a flowery trail. Okay, so 他走来走去，留下a trail. That means you could see where he had walked. Why? Because everything was white and you could see where he had walked. Okay. By now, he had a few tracks left by his kitten as well. 哦，他的小猫就开始要帮忙啊，越帮越忙啊 I'm sure. Okay, now a few tracks 留了一些痕迹啊，留了一些痕迹，是这个小猫啊。Things are not going very well, but we're not done yet. Going on. Brandon was covered with flour. Of course, when the flour fell, he got flour all over him. 这个面粉呢，就倒在他的身上。Not only on the floor, but also on him. And he was getting frustrated. So, frustrated, what does that mean? Frustrated means that he is getting upset. He is mad, sad. I think any emotion that you can think of, he was experiencing all at the same time. That's what frustrated is. You don't know what to do next. And so, going on. He wanted this to be something very special for mom and dad. 他原来的意思呢是希望这个是为妈妈爸爸做的一个特别的事情。Okay, so he wanted this to be something special, but it wasn't going well. 但是不很顺利。It's not going well. In fact, 事实上 it was turning out very bad. 是越来越糟糕。But we're not done yet. There's more to come. Going on. He didn't know what to do next. 他不晓得下一个步骤到底要做什么。What should I do next? 我现在应该做什么？ Should he put it into the oven? 放在烤箱机 Or should he put it up on top of the stove? 事实上应该是在 top of the stove. But he didn't know. He had probably never observed his mother doing it, so he didn't know whether you put it in the oven or on top of the oven. Going on. Now there's a slight problem there. The problem is he didn't even know how the stove worked. 他不晓得怎么样开这个 stove? How do you make the stove work? He didn't know how to turn it on. Either the oven, 烤箱, or 上面. He just didn't know how it worked. Suddenly, 突然间, 小猫，可爱的小猫 going on. Suddenly he saw his kitten licking. Okay, he saw the licking, 舔，用舌头舔. Okay, so he saw the kitten licking from the bowl. So probably he put the bowl too low. And the kitten was licking from the bowl. Well, I mean, sure, it probably was good stuff. It had some milk in it. Okay,牛奶. So Mrs. Ash, I wish you could see a picture of Mrs. Ash. She's laughing. She probably won't be able to come out here in a minute. Yeah, but suddenly he saw his kitten licking from the bowl of mix. Mix means whatever was inside the bowl. And he reached over to push the kitty away. 要把它推走。But something else happened going on. When he swung his hand, 当他把他的手 swing, to swing your hand, 这个摇到那边，滑到那边， he knocked the eggs on the floor. 他就把这个鸡蛋这个打到地板上。Of course, you know what happens when you have eggs. It's okay if they're up here. But if the eggs go boing, boing, what happens to an egg? It goes boom, 会破. So now he has flour and eggs on the floor. Broken eggs, gooey, 黏黏, sticky eggs. They're all on the floor, 在地板上. But that's not all. It gets worse. 会更糟糕. Let's maybe frantically 急忙的. By the way, Mrs. Ash, we're going to have you tell a story about this. So about when your child made something in the kitchen. If you can remember something. I don't remember. Frantically, 急忙的, he tried to clean up the monumental mess. Mess is 乱七八糟的情况. Clean up 要整理, 清理, okay? Monumental. You know what a monument is? A monument is 纪念碑. Okay? A monument is 纪念碑. But sometimes we put an AL at the end. And it means, monumental means very, very big. 非常巨大的一个 mess. Okay? But as he was thinking about it and trying to clean things up, and he's trying to clean it up and trying to do everything, he slipped on the eggs. 他站在这个鸡蛋里面滑倒. Okay, slipped on the eggs. He slipped on the eggs. And what happened? Whop! On the floor. Slipped on the eggs. And he got his pajamas. You know what pajamas are? 睡衣. Okay? 他的睡衣弄得 all white and 黏糊糊的 sticky 黏糊糊的又白又黏糊糊的 So now the floor is a mess, the kitchen is a mess, now he is a mess. Things are not going well. He was about ready to cry. 差不多要开始哭的时候 he saw Dad at the door. 他看到爸爸站在门口 And then it says, big crocodile tears welled up in Brandon's eyes. What does it mean to big crocodile tears? Okay, first of all, you know what a crocodile is. You know what a crocodile is? Is 鳄鱼. Okay, a crocodile tears. So a crocodile, of course, has big tears. 他的泪珠是比较大的 right? So, but we in America and in English-speaking areas, we use crocodile tears, meaning big tears. Big tears 叫做泪，这个眼泪的泪珠。Okay, so these big tears are welling up in his eyes. Okay, welling up, coming up in his eyes. And he says, all I wanted to do was to do something good. You can think how he's thinking in his mind. I just wanted to, 我想要做好事情. He just wanted to do something good, but he made a terrible, 很可怕的这个乱七八糟的一个情况 a big mess. He made a big mess. Going on, he was sure that Dad would give him a scolding. 肯定他的爸爸会责备他。生句语 in this case, even means 生句语。Scolding is 责备，这责备。生句语 a spanking 打屁股。Have you ever been spanked by your parents? I have. I think most parents have spanked their kids at some time or something. Not because they hated their children, because they loved their children and they wanted them to learn some important lessons. But his father, did his father scold him? Did his father spank him? No. But his father just 向他笑。只有笑容。Okay? Walking through the mess. Okay? 当然，这个 mess 乱七八糟的这个情况啊。Father had to walk through the mess. So here you have the dad, and he's walking through the mess. He picked up his crying son. He picked up his crying son. 那这个 Brandon 这个儿子，他已经哭了 Okay? And what did he do? 包容他。He hugged him. And of course, remember, tell me about Brandon's clothes. Brandon's pajamas were white. They were sticky, 黏糊糊的. They were a mess. And so the father took him and just hugged his son, his crying son. And so the father got his own clothes, you can say dirty, white and sticky, in the process, 在过程中, in the process, that means by picking up the son, his own clothes became white and sticky. Going on, Brandon, he said, Brandon, 这是小孩子的名字, he said, thank you for making pancakes for our breakfast. 谢谢你做煎饼为我们的早餐吃. And that's all the father said. Thank you for making pancakes. Okay, we get Mrs. Ash out here. Okay, with Mrs. Ash. No, she's the cook. She's the cook. So we'll face the camera there, and you can hold the bowl. I like the two colors of green. Okay. Okay. Now, have your sons ever made a mess in the kitchen?
Well, it's been a lot of years have gone by, and all I remember is that John, when he was about 10 or 11, he made bread.
Okay.
You taught him.
Yeah,
how to
I
make
taught him
bread.
how to make bread.
Uh-huh.
Did sometimes the bread, 因为他10岁的时候，我教他怎么样做面包。In our family, she cooks and I bake. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
That means 她是煮饭的，我不搞这些了。I don't cook. Actually, I can't.
Usually.
I usually don't do that. But I am the baker. 我是做面包的。She doesn't usually do that. 平常她都不会做这个。So we have a little separation. But I think there's an important lesson here.
Yes.
And the important lesson is Brandon's intention. 他的计划，他的动机 was good. Even though 弄得乱七八糟，一团糟。
Yes.
Okay, but still it's the intention that's very important.
Right.
And the father recognized that. He realized that. 他意识到. And so he didn't scold him, nor did he spank him.
He loved him very much.
He loved him too. And therefore he said, thank you for the pancakes, even though it was a mess. Okay, well, with that, I think we better look at our email address, theoldprincipal@gmail.com. And you can take a look at our website, 我们的网站是 www.theoldprincipal.org. Either way, you can look at the videos or you can even write to us. Until we meet again, hope you enjoy studying English.
Bye-bye.